Hello and welcome. In this video, I'd like to introduce three particular components of leadership that are useful to consider on their own and certainly as a precursor to using or studying the leadership landscape and tools of IDKN. These three components are the what, the how, and the who you are. And let's illustrate these and play with how they might relate using a little imagination. Let's say you're at sea and you spot something on the horizon. It's the pyramid shape of an iceberg, and just from seeing this small part, this little bit at the top, you're able to give what you're seeing a label, iceberg. This is the what it is. Now, in the same way, we all have our own labels indicating what we are. Mostly these describe a position, your job title, for example, or a relationship, mother, father, sister, brother, etc. The label is what you are, but of course that's not anything like the whole you. It's just the tip of the iceberg, an identifier for your position within that particular social context. And obviously there's a lot more to be said about our labels, but let's keep that for another time. So back to our seafaring adventure. As we get nearer our iceberg, we now see it from the tip, our what label, to the waterline. And I'd like you to imagine this portion between the tip and the waterline represents how you do whatever your label is. It supports your what label. And now, if this iceberg wants to get bigger and become more visible, then it can by packing much more ice on to the how area. And as such, in this image, if you'd like to get a promotion, for example, you might want to get better at how you do your job. You'd want to build up the how part between the waterline and the tip, which would indeed elevate your what. And traditionally, if you want promotion in an organisation, for example, then you get better at how you do your job. You want to have more visibility. You want to elevate your label of your what, and that's often done by training and then putting that training into practice. You stick more ice training on the iceberg above the waterline. Now, this is all great, notwithstanding the fact that if you're an iceberg, piling on all that ice adds extra weight, sinks you down proportionately, and you might eventually make the whole thing unstable and tip over. And I guess that's kind of what can happen sometimes to us humans too. However, as you know, there's another piece to look at. For the iceberg, it's the ice below the waterline, and we know that this ice supports everything above the waterline, the how and the what. But we can't see it. We don't really know what's there, and for us it's the same. It's our third part. It's the who we are, and that obviously supports everything that we can see. Even though we can't see it, we're proposing that if you grow or expand who you are, then it's likely to greatly assist at supporting and raising what you can see, the results we get from the doing of the how and the what. So this who part is about you, your inner world, everything that makes up your persona, your beliefs, interpretation of your experiences, your emotional world. And this is largely the realm of personal psychology and development, but it's also a major part of the IDKN landscape. How you react to problems, challenges and triggers, and the results you get is a function of who you are and how solid you are as a person. And there are a couple of other ideas that we can play with this from this iceberg idea. For example, what happens if from time to time you get into what you might call hot water? Have you ever found yourself in this metaphorical position? And if you're experiencing what we call an IDKN moment, you might already be in this hot water. And with the iceberg, the more ice that is below the waterline, the longer it can hold out in this hot or warm water. And like you, the more you've worked on the who you are, the greater your resilience, if you like, the bigger your who. The more you have below the waterline, the more you can cope with such uncomfortable moments. And as I've just said, this is probably called resilience. So IDKN helps with developing who you are. Okay, as another step, imagine what would happen if you suddenly had something unexpected and big to deal with. How would you build this capacity fast? And one way, to go back to our iceberg, is to get together with lots of other icebergs and all bunch together. then you could really build a tall, solid, strong iceberg, and you might call a team. And finally, another way of growing the who, how and what you are. An iceberg drifts in and water and wobbles about, a bit like us from time to time. And how do we overcome this? Well, if you take the iceberg and run it solidly aground, then you can pile as much ice on and grow the who, how and what you want with a lot more ease because it's stable and supported. So grounding yourself helps support who you are. And that obviously supports the how and the what, and allows a solid platform for growth and expansion. You can read that as becoming a more capable, resilient, powerful, if you like, person or leader. And people will feel that sense of solidity about you and maybe see you as an inspirational leader too. So in summary, we think that if you can expand the who you are, the better leader you're likely to be, or at least have the materials to become one, and the better results you'll get. So you'll also help and inspire others to grow their own capabilities. And as an iceberg, people will want to look at you and be inspired by you. So one of the ways you can get this growth of who you are and grounding is through an understanding and practice of the IDKN tools and methodology. And that's the subject of our next videos. So IDKN is a leadership and curiosity model and tool set developed by myself, Jeff Hinsley, and my friend and colleague, Dr. Kathleen Curran. And while we continually find new applications, one part of IDKM is an inquiry into what leadership is, how to understand it, and how to do it better. You can use IDKN as a diagnostic tool, a predictive methodology, or a real-time aid to finding new perspectives and improving decision-making for yourself, other leaders and teams. And we welcome your comments and observations. And if you'd like to participate in one of our open sandboxes, then please subscribe and contact us on the link below, and we'll look forward to meeting you later.